Alright, manga hair is ready, glasses are off. Okay, hello fellow mushroom people and welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about some manga series that I enjoy or that I've enjoyed in the past. So when I was younger I was very big into the anime and manga swamp. I'm not that interested in these kind of things anymore that much, so I still enjoy watching anime from time to time and I still read some manga, but not as often as I used to. And I'm also a lot more picky. I think back in the day I would just consume anything that existed, but nowadays there are so many things that bug me and that I don't want to just glance over in order to enjoy it. So for example, I don't really enjoy those high school animes with all the short skirts and you can see your panties all the time, and I think that's it's very aggravating for me because I don't like the way that women are portrayed most of the times in those series. And that's why I skip over them. So they exist, there's an audience for them, it's fine, I don't have to consume those things. But the series I want to talk about today are not that way, I hope. Yeah, so let's just start. So the first series I want to talk about is To Your Eternity by Yoshitoki Oima. This one, it recently got an anime series, so I think the first episode's out. And there's more to come. I think it's going to be like a 24 episode season. Maybe not. I should have checked before. But yeah, so this series is about a immortal being that gets just thrown onto our, it's not really our planet, but a very human-like planet in prehistoric times. And this being, it doesn't really have a form. So in the beginning it turns into stone and then it lays there for quite a while, and later on it becomes moss because it gets covered by moss. And the story starts when a wolf comes by and the wolf is dying, so it dies next to the stone and the being can turn into the wolf. And so the wolf just travels away and finds a human, and that's the human on the cover. And so the story basically is about this being going on adventures and just learning more about humanity and how society works and stuff like that. Later on there's also some threats in form of other beings that are quite similar to this one. And so I read the manga first and then I watched the anime, the first episode like a few days back, and it was really heartbreaking. So this series is quite heavy on its sadness. I think it's written by the same person who did A Silent Voice, if you know that. So this one's very I'm a very sensitive person, so I shouldn't read either of those series. But I didn't think this one was that bad. But when I watched the episode, it was very hard-hitting for me, emotion-wise. But yeah, this has some it's quite depressing at times. But I can still recommend it for the overall tone and the style and the setting and the story. It's all really interesting. So I think I've read the first 2 or 3 volumes. I don't know if I've read those. I should look into it again. So I have the first 4 volumes and I haven't read past that point. I haven't read this one. So I'm only speaking for the first few ones, but so far I can say that it's really great and I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, but it doesn't shy away from some depressing things in the story. So if that's not for you, you maybe want to skip on that. But otherwise, it's very interesting. So the next one I have with me, because I don't really own that many anymore. I used to have full shelves of mangas, but I don't have them anymore. So the next one I have is Shojo-Manga Nozaki-kun by Izumi Tsubaki. So this manga is about a girl called, what's her name? Sakura. And she falls in love with this mangaka. And this guy, he's so focused on drawing that he doesn't really register that she likes him. And it's also told in this 4-koma format. So these chapters are split into smaller chapters, and each of those small chapters, that's only 4 panels, is its own joke. So it's a comedy manga, and I think it's really funny because it has some very interesting themes, and it's quite well done. Also, all characters are treated with respect, and they're all very quirky, and they have their own unique kind of quirks, and I really enjoy that about the story. There's also an anime series, but that's only, I think, like 12 episodes long, so it doesn't cover the whole story. So I only have the first 4 volumes of this one as well. I don't know why I think there haven't been more out at the time that I was buying them. But I think they're really, really funny and really well done, and I really enjoy the characters. And yeah, so I think it's worth checking out if you are looking for a light-hearted comedy read. So the next series I want to talk about, so I don't have that one with me, but it's the big one, and I would feel bad if I didn't mention it, and that's One Piece. So One Piece was the first real anime that I've watched on TV. So when I first saw an advertisement for it in my kids magazine back in the day, I thought it was another season of Pokemon for some reason, because it had Chopper, so the one like reindeer character on it, and it looked like Pokemon. I don't know why I thought that. It even said One Piece. I just don't know why I thought it was Pokemon, and I thought that it looked so stupid. And that were my first impressions of One Piece. But when I watched the series, I really enjoyed it because unlike Pokemon and Digimon, this one wasn't really an advertisement for kids to buy toys and trading cards and stuff like that. So it was a story-focused series that was all about the world, the story, the characters, and all those things. And it was also more mature, so you had fights, you had blood, you had consequences. I heard that in the US you didn't really have blood and heavy stuff because it was all very censored, but in Germany we got all the good things, and I really like that. So I bought a lot of the manga volumes, I read ahead online, and I was really into it. And One Piece is still going strong. I think they just passed 1,000 chapters a few weeks back. I'm not that into it anymore. I still tend to keep up to date with the newest released chapters, but I think my interest just faded a bit when the time skip, around the time the time skip happened. I think it's been like 50 volumes ago. It's been like a while back. But for me, the series peaked with the Enies Lobby arc. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. And I really enjoyed that arc. And from there, it went a bit downhill for me. So I think it's still a very high quality series. And I've heard that the recent arcs have been really, really good. And I want to get into them someday again, but for me those older arcs are like those are the ones that I loved and that I really enjoyed. So but yeah, so in case you don't know, One Piece is about a boy called Luffy, and he wants to become Pirate King. And Pirate King in this universe means you have to find this very well hidden treasure, the One Piece, that's said to be at the end of the Grand Line, which is it's hard to explain. It's just it's a traveling route around the globe, and you have to just start at the beginning and go around, and then you can find One Piece. I mean, you don't really have to go around all the way because there's other but you have to travel this way to find the One Piece. And so he gathers his crew, he gets a ship, and they go on adventures, and they end up in different places, and they have to fight against different enemies. And it's very funny. The fights are well done. I like the characters. They all have their own personality, and they're very well done. and it's just an overall very, very high quality series. And I think it's the most popular manga series in our times worldwide, so I think no other manga series has more copies sold. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, it's a great series, and if you want a very long series, you should check it out. So another series that I want to mention that I really liked is Fullmetal Alchemist. This is about two brothers who, due to some circumstances, they lost parts of their body, or their whole body in the younger brother's case, and now they're looking for a way to get their bodies back. And if you watch the anime series, which I did for a while, in English for some reason, you will hear the phrase, "get his body back," or "get our bodies back," a lot. So it was really annoying, because they were always screaming this phrase. But if you're looking for a kind of adventure shonen battle manga that's not that long, I think Fullmetal Alchemist is like 30 volumes, something like that. You should definitely check it out, because all the fights are well done. The characters are very interesting. There's a lot of side characters who are also quite prominent in the series, and I think you have that in series like Naruto and Bleach, where at one point the side characters, they just get left behind, they're not important anymore. And I think in Fullmetal Alchemist you don't, this is not a story only about the protagonist who's fighting all the bad guys and the others are just standing there cheering him on. They are actually doing stuff, so I really enjoyed that. And the world building is great, the story is great, and I really like that it's finished after some time. Like I said, One Piece is still going. Naruto has like 700 chapters. It's a very huge series, so those have been going for quite a while. And if you're into something that's finished, that's completed, and that's still a good read, you should check it out. It's also kind of steampunky, and you have alchemy, and it also has some very sad moments, and it's just a very good series. Okay, another series that I want to talk about is The Promised Neverland by someone. Okay, so this series is about a bunch of kids who grow up in an orphanage, and in the beginning they find out that the orphanage is not the happy place that they thought it was, and from then on they plan their escape. This has also been turned into an anime series, and if you don't like reading, you can just watch that instead. So the first story arc is about them getting out of the orphanage, and then they continue on in the world, in the larger world. So I haven't really read past the point where they leave the orphanage, so I can't talk about those parts. I still want to read it or watch it. I don't know if I'm lazy, but it's very enjoyable. The world is very dark and it's very interesting, and overall it's really enjoyable, and it's definitely worth checking out. Okay, so one more manga I want to talk about is one that I haven't looked at for a very long time, and so I really enjoy sports anime and sports manga sometimes, because they're always, you have the game going on and people are always overanalyzing stuff, and then you have the people on the stands and they're always like, oh my god, they're doing that, oh no, this mad genius, he's doing that. And it's so silly, but I really like that. It's just so dumb. And you always have like, so someone is shooting a ball and then the ball's flying, and during that time so many people are thinking so many different things, and I was like, but the ball it should have been there like 2 minutes ago. And I really like sports anime. But the one I want to mention is one that's not your typical sports anime, and that is called Chihayafuru. So this is about a game called Karuta, where I think that's a very Japanese-like game. So you have those poems, and you always have one person starting saying the poem, and you have so the cards are laid out in front of you, and you have to find the corresponding second phrase for the poem, a verse, or not phrase, the second verse for the poem, and then you have to touch it, and So this manga series, it also has an anime series. It's really intense and I really like that. And it's a shoujo manga, so the protagonist is a young girl called Chihaya, and she's really into this karuta thing, and she has some friends who are also into this thing, and they play together and they want to go to nationals like all the people. I don't think there's no other nationals. I don't know. She just wants to be the next best karuta champion, and it's a really great series, and it's really, really enjoyable. So if you're into sports animes or mangas and you have seen all the Haikyuus and the Kuroko no Baskets and all the other things out there, I think this is one worth checking out. Another sports manga that I want to mention is Eyeshield 21. So when I was younger, I really enjoyed this manga. And so it's a sports manga about American football, and it had great characters. The matches were very well done. It was quite over the top, and I think that's what made it so enjoyable. And spoiler alert, because of that series, I actually started playing American football, and that was okay. But it's a really great series and I really enjoyed it back in the day. I think the ending was a bit weaker, but when it was in its prime, it was really great, and I think I have to mention it because I think it's one of my favorite series of all times. Okay, so the final series I want to talk about is one that has 2 chapters, so it just started, but so far I've been really enjoying it, and so there's this app called, I think it's called Manga Plus. I'll put it somewhere. And there you can read all the new released chapters from Shonen Mangas for free. So it's a legal app. It's from the publisher itself. So they put the app up in the App Store where you can read those legal mangas. I would love to show you some screenshots, but the app forbids me to take screenshots. But the manga I want to talk about is called Blue Box. Like I said, it just started last week, and it's about a guy who plays badminton, and he really likes this girl who plays basketball, and she's really good, and he's kind of meh. And yeah, it's about their story. So like I said, only 2 chapters have been out. There's a twist at the end of the first chapter, so I don't want to spoil it. And I just like the art style. It's really, really cute, and I think one commenter said that the series so far is really wholesome, and I have to agree. It's just a cute little romance without this edgy stuff and without panty shots and stuff like that, and so I've really enjoying it so far. So if you want to check that one out, you can read the first 2 chapters for free on the app, I think. And yeah, it's just a really cute romance, and I hope that it stays this kind of cute romance and doesn't turn into something despicable. And I think that's all the series I want to talk about today. So I'm quite mainstream. I don't have those special interests in some very obscure mangas. But I really like the ones that I talk about, and I just want to give them a shout out. And maybe some of them interest you as well, and you want to check them out. So if you're a manga reader as well, you're very welcome to leave a comment down below and tell me what you're reading, or if you have any recommendations. Because I think I want to get into some manga a bit more again. I'll just watch some anime because I'm lazy. But yeah, I'll see you again next time.